In the heart of a vast ancient forest, there was a hidden place known only to a few, the Whispering Glade. The trees there were taller than giants, their leaves shimmering with secrets carried by the wind. Legend said that both humans and animals could speak to one another in this mystical part of the forest. One sunny morning, a brave young girl named Elara ventured deep into the woods. She had always been curious about the forest, drawn by stories her grandmother used to tell her. With her leather satchel and a wooden staff, Elara walked confidently, though she felt the eyes of the forest on her. As she reached the Whispering Glade, the wind began to hum softly. The trees seemed to sway in a slow dance, and Elara could feel the magic in the air. Suddenly a rustling sound caught her attention. From the shadows emerged a magnificent wolf with silver fur, its eyes glowing with wisdom. "I've been waiting for you, Elara," the wolf said, its voice deep but gentle. Elara took a step back in surprise. "You can speak?" she stammered. "In this forest, everything speaks," the wolf replied. "I am Fenrir, guardian of these woods, and you are here for a reason." Before Elara could respond, a brilliant flash of feathers swooped down from the trees. A golden eagle, wings wide and eyes sharp, landed gracefully beside her. "Time is running out, Fenrir," the eagle said, its voice crisp and commanding. "The humans are approaching the heart of the forest. If they find the Whispering Glade, they will destroy the balance." Elara's heart pounded. "What do you mean? What balance?" Fenrir looked at her, his eyes serious. "There is an ancient power hidden here, one that keeps the forest alive. If the humans cut down the trees, the magic will fade, and with it, all life in the forest, the animals, the trees, the very essence of this place, everything will vanish." Elara realized the weight of the situation. She had seen loggers in the village preparing to enter the forest for weeks. They didn't know the magic they were about to destroy. "I have to stop them," she said, determination filling her voice. The eagle nodded. "But you cannot do it alone." Suddenly more animals appeared from the shadows. A majestic stag with antlers like tree branches, a mischievous fox with fur the color of autumn leaves, and a wise old owl whose eyes gleamed in the dim light. "We will help you," said the owl, "but you must listen to the forest. Only then can you guide the humans away." Elara felt a surge of courage. Together with her new companions, they devised a plan. That night, under the light of the full moon, they made their way to the edge of the forest where the loggers camped. Elara, with the guidance of the animals, used the forest's magic to summon illusions. Trees that moved, shadows that whispered, and winds that carried voices. The loggers, frightened by the eerie sights and sounds, hesitated. They spoke of the forest being cursed, of spirits that guarded its heart. Elara, hidden in the shadows, felt a small glimmer of hope. But one man, the leader of the loggers, stepped forward. "There is no magic here," he shouted. "Only trees and beasts. Tomorrow we begin cutting." The animals grew restless. Fenrir growled low, but Elara raised her hand to calm him. "We must show him the truth," she whispered. At dawn, Elara stepped into the clearing, her heart racing. "Stop!" she cried. The loggers turned, surprised to see a young girl standing before them. The leader frowned. "You again? What do you want, child?" "I want to show you the forest as it truly is," Elara said, her voice steady. "Follow me." Reluctantly, the leader and a few of the men followed Elara into the depths of the forest. The animals stayed hidden, guiding her path. As they walked deeper, the forest seemed to come alive. The trees shimmered, the wind whispered ancient songs, and the earth pulsed with magic. Finally, they reached the whispering glade. The leader stared in awe as the trees seemed to bend towards him, their leaves glowing with a golden light. In that moment, he felt the power of the forest, the life, the magic, the connection between all things. This is real," he whispered, his voice filled with wonder. Elara nodded. "The forest is alive. If you destroy it, you destroy everything." The leader looked down, guilt washing over him. "We didn't know. We thought they were just trees." With a heavy sigh, he turned to his men. "We leave. No more cutting. This forest is sacred." As the loggers left the forest, Elara stood in the glade, surrounded by her animal friends. Fenrir approached her, his eyes filled with gratitude. "You've saved us, Elara," he said. "The forest will remember you always." Elara smiled, feeling the warmth of the forest around her. She knew she had found her true place, a guardian of the whispering glade, where the magic of the forest would live on forever. Weeks passed since Elara had saved the forest, and life in the whispering glade seemed to return to a peaceful rhythm. The trees hummed their ancient melodies, the animals thrived, and Elara grew closer to her new companions. She often walked through the woods with Fenrir at her side, feeling the pulse of magic beneath her feet. But not all was well. One night, while Elara was resting near the great oak, the oldest and most powerful tree in the forest, Fenrir approached her with a worried expression. His silver fur shimmered under the moonlight, but his eyes betrayed his concern. "Elara? Something stirs in the farthest reaches of the forest, a darkness we have not seen in centuries," Fenrir said quietly. Elara looked at him, her heart tightening. "What do you mean? What kind of darkness?" "The forest speaks of a creature, an ancient being, forgotten by most, but still alive. It lies deep in the cursed hollow, beyond the glade. The forest says it is waking." Elara frowned. She had heard whispers of the cursed hollow in old stories, but no one had ever ventured there. "What kind of creature?" Fenrir lowered his head. "A wraith. A spirit born from the forest's anger long ago. When humans first began to destroy the woods, the wraith was created from the pain and loss. It consumed everything in its path, spreading fear and destruction. We managed to seal it away. But now, the magic that kept it bound is weakening. Elara's heart raced. What do we do? How do we stop it? Before Fenrir could answer, a familiar voice cut through the night air. You must go to the hollow, Elara. Elara turned to see the golden eagle, her sharp eyes gleaming as she landed gracefully beside them. The Wraith feeds on fear and destruction. If it awakens fully, not even the whispering glade will be safe. Elara clenched her fists. She had saved the forest once, but now, it seemed, an even greater challenge awaited her. I will go, Elara said firmly, but I need help. The animals of the forest gathered once more. The wise owl, the cunning fox, the majestic stag, they all offered their assistance. Together they formed a plan to reach the cursed hollow and confront the Wraith before it could escape its prison. Early the next morning, Elara set out with Fenrir leading the way. The forest grew darker and more foreboding as they approached the hollow. The trees here were twisted, their branches like skeletal hands reaching towards the sky. The air was thick with an unnatural chill, and even the birds refused to sing. When they reached the edge of the hollow, Elara could feel the weight of the darkness pressing down on her. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient stone circle, cracked and worn by time. Faint, glowing runes were carved into the stones, but their light was fading. Fenrir stepped forward cautiously, his eyes scanning the area. This is the prison, he whispered. The Wraith is still contained, but not for long. As if in response to his words, the ground beneath them trembled, and a cold wind swept through the clearing. From the center of the stone circle, a shadowy figure began to rise. It was taller than any tree, its body made of swirling mist and darkness. Its eyes burned with a malevolent red glow. The Wraith had awakened. A deep, echoing voice filled the air. Who dares to stand before me? Elara stepped forward, her heart pounding but her resolve firm. I am Elara, guardian of the Whispering Glade. You will not harm this forest. The Wraith's laughter was like thunder. You think you can stop me, child? I was born from the destruction of this forest. I'm its fury, its vengeance. You are nothing. Elara felt the fear rising inside her. But she pushed it down. She had to be strong, for the forest, for her friends. She glanced at the glowing runes on the stones. They were flickering, growing dimmer by the second. The runes, she muttered. We have to reactivate them. The owl swooped down beside her. You must use the magic of the forest, Elara. The Wraith cannot be destroyed, but it can be contained again. The trees, the earth, they will lend you their strength. Elara closed her eyes, reaching out with her senses. She could feel the forest around her, the roots deep beneath the ground, the wind whispering through the leaves, the heartbeat of the earth itself. Slowly, she raised her hands, drawing the magic into her. The runes began to glow brighter, but the Wraith snarled, sensing what she was doing. It lunged towards her, its shadowy form stretching across the clearing. Before it could reach her, Fenrir leaped in front of Elara, baring his teeth. You will not touch her, he growled, his silver fur bristling. The stag charged forward, his antlers glowing with ancient power, while the eagle dove at the Wraith's eyes, blinding it momentarily. The fox darted between the Wraith's shadowy tendrils, distracting it with his agility. With her friends holding the Wraith back, Elara focused all her energy on the runes. The ground beneath her feet glowed with a soft green light as the magic of the forest surged through her. The Wraith howled in fury, but it was too late. The stones blazed with a brilliant light, and the swirling darkness of the Wraith was pulled back into the circle, sealed once more by the ancient magic. The clearing grew quiet, the air was still, and the forest once again felt peaceful. Elara collapsed to her knees, exhausted but triumphant. Fenrir padded over to her, his eyes filled with pride. "You did it, Elara. The forest is safe once more." Elara smiled weakly. "Not just me. All of us." The animals gathered around her, their eyes filled with gratitude. The forest had a new guardian now, one who had proven her courage and strength not once but twice. And as the sun rose over the whispering glade, Elara knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, she and the forest would face them together.